So you've chosen a room in home design that you want to redo. You're not entirely sure where to start. This is what I want you to think about. A, I want you to think about the anatomy of the room. And if we think about the anatomy being not the doors, not the windows and floors, we think about it being the furniture pieces, the things that inhabit the room. What are they? If we can break them into two categories, the anchor pieces and the peripheral pieces, it might look like this. Anchor pieces are the big ones, the big pieces that might be either attached, built into the place, or they are too costly to replace every couple of years. For example, a couch, a bed, an expensive coffee table. Those would all be examples of anchor pieces. Peripheral pieces would be the pieces that are a little bit smaller. These are smaller, but they pack a really mighty punch. These are the heavy hitters. These are the things that finish the room. Lighting, textiles, pillows, curtains, things like that. So if you think about it in those terms, that is the first place to start. What are your anchor pieces within the room, and what are your peripheral pieces? Now, if we can think about a little further down the road, the room that you want to redesign, what is the purpose of the room? Not what it's doing for you right now, but what do you want it to do for you? And do those anchor pieces, not necessarily the peripheral pieces, but do the anchor pieces help you meet the needs of the room with the purpose that you have intended for it? That's the first question to ask. The other A I want you to think about are the aesthetics. Before you buy a thing, once you understand the purpose of the room and before you start purchasing anything, getting an idea of what your aesthetic is a good thing. Here's one quick way to do it. If you go on Pinterest, you open a Pinterest account, you start pinning a lot of different ideas on, we'll say, living rooms. Maybe you have about 30 pins that you are pinning because you like the different ideas, the different design elements within the room. In the notes section, jot down everything that you like about the picture and even some of the things that you don't like. And then with a fine-tooth comb, go back and take a peek at all of the different things within those design elements that you start noticing over and over and over again. For example, different types of metals, wood finishes, colors, textures, those define your aesthetic. And if you can get an idea of what your general overall aesthetic is, that is very different than your style. So we're not trying to define our style based on nautical, modern, Scandinavian, farmhouse. We're not trying to get big and global. We're trying to narrow it down to the fine details because your aesthetic is unique to you, and you may very well like Scandinavian design with a farmhouse bend, or you may very well like modern boho. Those are just a name. So what is the aesthetic, the common denominator of all of these elements that you like in home design? So A, anatomy of the room, and are those pieces meeting your need of the purpose that you want for the room? And A, aesthetic. What overall style and form do you want to take? Now, don't purchase anything yet. We have more to talk about. All right, I'll see you in B tomorrow.